Coming up on UCF Nightly News, the election for student body president and vice president starts Monday. Reporter Rachel White will tell us how changes this week have affected next week's ballot.
The nation is recovering after a terrorist attack in Belgium. We'll tell you what's affecting the nights here. The
Easter holiday is coming this Sunday. Find out how one local church is asking for volunteers to help the homeless here in Orlando.
In sports, find out how the athletic department is boosting up their football team.
Nightly News starts now. Good afternoon and welcome to UCF Nightly News. I'm Joshua Thicklin.
And I'm Karan Case. Today is Friday, March 25th, 2016.
This year's SGA presidential election has been filled with much controversy.
Reporter Rachel White joins us in the studio and tells us a little bit more about the SGA race.
Thanks, Josh and Karan. The SGA presidential race is winding down, and this week we saw some changes in this year's nominees. We've already seen one set of candidates removed from the ballot, with another set possibly on its way out. This week we started with 3 SGA presidential hopefuls. That was until SGA suspended Jacob Millick and Elaine Sarlo's campaign. Millick posted a statement to Facebook saying the suspension was due to several different violations. Millick says he appealed the suspension, but the SGA Chief Justice rejected his appeal. We talked to Supervisor of Elections Whitney Barnes, who didn't have much to say about the situation.
I do not have any comment. That falls under the jurisdiction of the Chief Justice, and that's the opinion that we received.
Other candidates did have something to say about the situation. Safadi and Ali did not comment to us, but Safadi made a Facebook post about Millick being removed from the ballot. Safadi's post says, "This is not democracy. This is not the will of the student body." Earlier this week, vice presidential candidate Rachel Altfield called the situation unfortunate.
We all 4 sat in the same informational meeting with the Election Commission, and we got a whole presentation on what we can and can't do, and we followed the rules, and it's unfortunate that they didn't.
But Clemente and Altfield are now facing campaign violations of their own. They tell us the violations were filed about their Facebook page and campaign signs. Clemente and Altfield have their first violations hearing today. While Millick is no longer on the ballot, he says he plans to file a lawsuit. Voting begins on Monday at my.ucf.edu. We will have more updates on the election next week. Back to you guys.
Voter turnout for student body president has been increasing, and SGA is doing more to keep the upward slope. Members of SGA are hoping to continue the high rates despite the recent changes on the ballot. Officials say that they are trying to focus on the numbers and improving them during the election. They plan on using T-shirts and stations to continue the increase of votes.
Each year, the current SGA president endorses their favorite candidate. In the past 4 elections, the candidate selected has gone on to win the presidency. Since 2012, SGA President Cortez Watley all the way down to current SGA President Kate Zona, the gavel has been passed down from one endorsee to another. Now, former SGA President Melissa Westbrook says that the power of endorsement is usually misunderstood.
Really helps me win anything, but it just shows you maybe the president supports that person because of the experience that they have.
We found a Facebook post from 2015 naming a list of official supporters for current SGA President Kate Zona. 3 former SGA presidents are listed, and as you can see when we click the page of 2014 SGA President Weston Bayes, current SGA candidates Christopher Clemente and Rachel Altfield appear.
The SGA elections isn't the only thing happening. United States presidential election has some movement. According to the Associated Press, Donald Trump currently holds the Republican ticket with 739 delegates, with Ted Cruz in second place and John Kasich in third. The Democratic side, Hillary Clinton leads Bernie Sanders with over 300 delegates. On Saturday, the Democrats will hold caucus in Alaska, Hawaii, and Washington. The next primary will be in April 5th in Wisconsin.
In world news, the city of Brussels, Belgium is on edge today. Authorities continue searching for suspects tied to Tuesday's bombings. Reporter Edward Locke explains how recent attacks abroad have personally impacted a UCF student here in Orlando.
Could have been me just a week and a half ago.
That could have been him. Joshua Dickens was just at the Brussels airport during spring break, and you can see in the cell phone video the explosion that created chaos at Brussels airport Tuesday. Luckily, Dickens was already back in Orlando, but it still hit close to home.
And one of my good friends from church, Brother Kendrick Shaw, he texted me and said, hey, in a text, I just want to see if your sister's okay in Belgium. I had no idea what he's talking about.
Belgium authorities say the attacks at the city's airport and subway killed close to 31 and injured more than 250. Officials believe at least 4 men were responsible. Dickens was left shocked by the devastation and worried about his sister.
Said a quick prayer of faith and called her to see if she was all right and to hear her voice and that she was okay.
Nia, seen here in this family photo, lives in Brussels, working as an English teaching assistant. Dickens told us he noticed an increase in security when he and his mother visited Nia during spring break. They never expected anything like this.
I mean, I didn't feel like threatened or anything. I felt protected.
While Dickens and his family are thankful Nia is safe, they still feel the heartbreak.
My thoughts and prayers goes out to everyone in Belgium.
Another tragedy in Europe affecting people worldwide. In Orlando, Edward Locke, UCF Nightly News.
Now, if you're thinking of traveling or studying abroad this summer, you can find safety tips and information at studyabroad.ucf.edu.
President Obama is back in the States after his trip overseas, and some people are saying his trip was a success. Obama visited Cuba and Argentina. He was the first U.S. president to step foot on Cuban soil in almost 90 years. Cuban-American author and UCF professor Cecilia Milanes says his visit was impactful.
President Obama is betting on the fact that more communication, more interaction, more engagement will ultimately change the system.
President Obama says his trip is a step in the right direction to prepare foreign relations for Latin Americans.
A day usually spent at church is now being spent helping the homeless, and one pastor's dream is becoming a reality this Easter Sunday. Pastor Johnson's project would have not been possible without volunteers. He's going to the He Got Up event that he's been planning for over a year. Johnson says that the plan is to help the Orlando community by packing the Citrus Bowl with more than 30,000 homeless people.
It's about being proactive to address needs. Sometimes to address large-scale needs, you have to do it on a large scale.
Orlando Outreach is asking for help. If you would like to volunteer this Sunday, visit orlandoservefoundation.org.
After the break, find out how some characters in video games can affect your reality.
Plus, earlier this morning around CFE Arena, it was kind of cloudy. We'll tell you how it will look heading into this weekend.
If you've ever played Xbox, you're probably familiar with Mortal Kombat and some of the scandalous female characters. Last week, Xbox had go-go dancers perform at the event in San Francisco, causing a bit of controversy. Reporter Danielle Apollinaire found out some of the characters and the video games and how women feel in real life.
Both bashing and defending the company's choice were quick to pop up after the event. A lot referred to a battle which isn't new to the gaming realm. Student Sean Greenfield likes to spend his free time gaming. He says a character's look shouldn't be the focus.
As long as a game is fun, the character you're playing doesn't matter at all. Once you start worrying about things that have nothing to do with gameplay, you start to lose what the whole point of making a game was about.
Some argue that the sexualization of women seen in characters like these isn't or shouldn't be a problem. Others think fantasy world portrayals causes problems for women today in the real world.
Public breastfeeding remains a touchy topic, and Shannon Carter, associate professor at UCF, says the image of women in media adds to the negativity.
As a society, we're so used to seeing breasts in a sexual manner, and so to see them used in a way that is maternal challenges the idea.
Lately, we've seen a contrast in opinions of women's sexuality about when it's considered liberating or insulting. Killian Mallow, treasurer of UCF's National Organization for Women, thinks the line separating the two is the intention.
If it's someone like Kim Kardashian just personally being like, this is what makes me feel good, I'm going to do this, like, that's your prerogative. But when it's like a company trying to exploit a woman's body for profit, that's where the problem comes in.
Greenfield says despite the women he encounters in video games, it doesn't affect how he views women in reality. In Orlando, Danielle Apollinaire, UCF Nightly News.
Phil Spencer, head of Microsoft, which owns Xbox, has apologized. The apology was posted on Xbox's website and says that the company viewed their gold.
Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice is now at the box office. The movie premiered at theaters last night. Reporter Rachel White tells us how one local comic book store is preparing for the new film.
In the Artagon Marketplace, Gods and Monsters is home to a wide variety of comic books and collectibles. But right now, it's hard to miss the Superman and Batman merchandise. And customers of the store are looking forward to the movie's premiere.
I think it looks amazing. I'm really excited for Wonder Woman. She is my hero, and I hope they do her justice.
It's gonna probably end up with them teaming up because neither of them like to kill anybody, so they're probably not going to get to fight each other very much.
Co-owner of the store, Todd Fisher, says this movie is important to the comic book industry because it's the start of a bigger plan by DC Comics.
They're trying to put all their eggs in one basket by putting Aquaman and Wonder Woman and Flash and all these other characters in there too, to try to build, you know, as cohesive a cinematic universe as Marvel has done.
Fisher says he expects even more DC items and fans in the store in the years to come. Reporting in Orlando, Rachel White, UCF Nightly News.
Squad is the next DC movie scheduled for release. The set is set to open on August 5th. Now let's go to reporter Holly Stouffer to tell what's coming up later on in the show.
Coming up next, I'm at the UCF Arboretum, where officials are awaiting the ribbon cutting of the new greenhouse. Plus, reporter Justin Garfield has this.
Bees play an important role in the ecosystem when it comes to pollination and producing honey. We were able to take a closer look at how they work their magic in the hives.
Today, staff and volunteers at the UCF Arboretum are welcoming a new addition to their program. A new greenhouse will open and the whole UCF community is invited to join in on the warm welcome.
The greenhouse is replacing the old one that was taken down 10 years ago. Reporter Holly Stouffer is there with the latest.
Thanks, guys. I'm here at the UCF Arboretum where the staff is busy setting up for the event. The caterers got here not too long ago too, so they're really busy setting up as well. And as you can see behind me, there's already quite a few plants here. This project has taken months to complete, so the staff is really excited to show this place off. This new greenhouse is replacing the Stockard Conservatory, which was torn down in 2005 due to storm damage and aging infrastructure. Jacques Werle is the program assistant here at the Arboretum. He says that he's been looking forward to this greenhouse for a pretty long time.
As long as I've been here, there's always been like, we're going to get a greenhouse next year. We're going to get a greenhouse next year. We're going to get a greenhouse next year. We got a greenhouse this year. So that's why I'm very happy.
So the event is going to be going on from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. today, and it's complete with a ribbon cutting, a cash bar, and even an Easter egg hunt, where students will have the opportunity to run around, find some Easter eggs that have little plants inside that they can take home. So get on out and come and be one with nature, you guys. Reporting from the UCF Arboretum, I'm Holly Stouffer. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Holly. Recent studies show honeybees may be destined for extinction, and this could spell bad news for more than just these insects. Reporter Justin Garfield has found one local man who's working to keep them buzzing.
Behind this store, a man keeps several colonies of honeybees buzzing, despite their declining numbers.
This is a honeybee smoker.
Clifton Best is a bee removal specialist who believes our ecosystem would suffer without them.
One of my main things for starting this was about the extinction of honeybees and saving the bees. A third of the food we eat is pollinated by honeybees.
A study conducted by Bee Informed, a partnership of labs and universities, shows that honeybee colony loss was approximately 48% in northern states and 37% in southern states from 2014 to 15. Dr. Barb Sharonowski, an associate professor at the UCF Department of Biology, says it's partially due to growers using seeds coated with pesticides called neonicotinoids.
And so it's normally sold as some sort of additional pest control, but most studies show they have limited value. But they can have negative effects on bees, such as the honeybee, which is a managed bee.
These pesticides contribute to a problem called colony collapse disorder.
The honeybee gets the pollen, has already got the insecticide in it, and they carry it back to the hive. This is, tends to be a problem for the bees to deal with because it stays in the comb.
Inside these boxes are recolonized honeybees that Best removed from people's homes. Instead of extermination, he opts to conserve them to help the ecosystem. In Cocoa, Justin Garfield, UCF Nightly News.
To help reduce the decline of honeybees, Best says the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services is working with citrus farmers to limit pesticide spraying. They suggest coating crops early in the morning or late at night.
Josh, the weather outside doesn't look so good today. I don't want it to ruin my Easter weekend.
Well, we have Connor Engelhardt who's going to join us in the studio to tell us what to expect leading into next week. So how does it look, Connor?
That's right, guys. The weather does not look very good for Easter weekend. As we can see here on the national map, there's a low pressure system on the East Coast. Rain is all the way from Maine down to Florida. But if you're going to travel out to the southwest, Arizona and Southern California are beautiful, but right above them, right here, there's another low pressure system where there's going to be some rain and snow near Idaho. Now, let's go back to the state of Florida where the rain chances are pretty high. As you can see, Tallahassee and Jacksonville are at 100%. Here in Orlando, we have 60%. And then in Tampa is 30% and Miami's 20%. Now let's look at the temperatures right now around the state of Florida as well. Tallahassee's the lowest at 71 and Jacksonville's up here at 76. Orlando's right around 80 degrees right now and Tampa's at 81 with Miami at 82. Now let's take a quick look at the current conditions for today here in Orlando. As you can see, currently it is 80 degrees and the humidity is at 80%. The winds are blowing towards the northeast at 12 miles per hour. Right now there's a 30% chance of rain, but later on in the day there's a 60% chance of rain. Now if we take a quick look at the weekend forecast, we can see that tomorrow there's a 40% chance of rain and there's an 80% chance of rain on Sunday. So Easter Sunday you may want to stay inside. The high of the week is going to be on Sunday as well at 87 degrees. On Monday, there will be an 84 high and a low of 67 with 40% chance of rain. And as you can see, on Tuesday and Wednesday, the rain chances go lower. Now, back to you, Josh and Karan.
Coming up in sports, find out how the UCF football team aims to fill the stadium following their winless season.
Plus, the football team is not the only squad with a new head coach. See how the men's basketball team is welcoming their new addition.
Good afternoon, UCF Knights. I'm Troy Kless here with your nightly news sports update. The upcoming spring game is a chance for the UCF football team to get some scrimmage time in a game day environment, but it's also a chance for the school to get fans excited for the season. Reporter Daniel Bird explains how the game is helping the school get Knight Nation ready for football season.
Redshirt freshman Traquan Smith used his first season on the field to pile up stats. But one stat he and his team didn't collect: a win. UCF limped to an 0-12 season last year, and Smith is excited to get back on the field.
Everybody wants to win, been waiting for it. Hopefully we get it the first game coming up.
While Smith is looking forward to the spring game, the fans may need convincing. Last year, UCF fans weren't afraid to show their disappointment. Assistant AD of Fan Development Jimmy Skiles says this year's spring game is a big chance to get fans back on board.
It really sets the tone for going into the summer and then the start of the season in the fall. So it's the first chance for people to see this new era of UCF football.
And the school isn't taking any chances. UCF has turned the spring game into a day-long festival, a play on words based on the team's fast-paced offense. And with that offense creating a buzz, Skiles says fans will be back in full force next season.
We're renewing at a record pace. We got new season tickets that are people are calling in and buying. So we want to keep that momentum going through the end of the renewal period, which is at the end of April.
And the Knights will be looking to carry that momentum right into the end zone in the fall. In Orlando, Daniel Bird, UCF Nightly News.
The spring game is free for all UCF fans. Non-student fans just have to register before the game at ucfestival.com. The UCF men's basketball team has a new head coach. On Wednesday, the program announced the hiring of Johnny Dawkins. Dawkins comes to the Knights after 8 seasons at Stanford. Athletic Director Danny White says the decision to hire Dawkins was an easy one because of his outstanding reputation and experience. Dawkins says his hiring will start a new era for the current players.
I don't want to come in with any preconceived notions about who they are and how they played in the past. What I want to do is learn about them, get in the gym, work with them, and start to, evaluate them from a standpoint of how I see, the program moving forward offensively and defensively.
One of the first challenges for Dawkins will be to recruit well before National Signing Day on April 13th. The UCF baseball team is gearing up for American Athletic Conference play. This weekend will be the final non-conference home series against Cornell. The series starts at 6:30 tonight. Cree Finfrock will take the mound for the Knights. And that's all the time we have for sports. Now back to Karan and Joshua at the desk.
Now we have Connor Engelhardt here at the desk to tell us how the weather is looking.
How's it looking, Connor?
Definitely on Saturday, the rain chances are at 40% chance, and then on Sunday you may want to stay inside as it's 80% chance of rain.
Well, cool. That's our time for right now. If you have a story idea, send it our way at nightlyNewsUCF.edu.